This is the Albuquerque Business Podcast with your host, Jason Rigby. Each week, we interview leading local business leaders to inspire the vision and spirit that is in every entrepreneur, discussing strengths, weakness, strategies, systems, and the problems we can all solve together to fulfill a shared vision of a new future for Albuquerque.
What up, everyone? This is the Albuquerque Business Podcast, and this is Jason Rigby, your host. And today, we've got an amazing guest. We're going to be talking about leadership. We're going to be talking about culture. We're going to be talking about teamwork, coaching. We have one of the fastest growing real estate companies here in Albuquerque, and we have, I want everybody to know this. So you've done over $100 million in real estate, and how old are you?
25.
So this is going to be interesting. What's your Instagram? I want everybody, before they listen, I want everybody to go on Instagram. So you're going to pause this real quick. It's a podcast.
Yep.
And so what's your Instagram handle?
It is Ramon_ABQ. My first name spelled RAMON_ABQ.
So this is going to be interesting, guys. We're going to get into this pretty heavily. How many real estate agents do you, I know it's not like, a lot of real estate agents, a lot of real estate companies, they have where, you have a ton of agents.
Yeah.
And I know you're not into like quantity, you're into quality.
Sure.
But how many real estate agents do you have?
Right now we have a team of 25.
Wow.
Yep.
Already. So you're just matching your age? Or?
Hopefully faster than my age, but yeah, that's the goal.
Oh, that's funny. So I want to thank 99.9 The Beat FM. We're in their studios right now. We're also, Ramon, you're Instagram Live.
Yep,
so
we're on Instagram Live.
Yep, we
got some people watching.
So we can say hi to them. That it's
there
awesome.
We go.
And we're going to have to do that. We've got a camera set up, and we're looking at going YouTube Live here very soon on that. So one of the things that I want you guys to understand is 99.9 The Beat is a minority-owned local not-for-profit radio station. That's very rare to have in your community. So if you're a business owner, you can stream 99.9 The Beat. You can, go on your FM dial to 99.9 The Beat FM, or you can stream it online. It's old school hip-hop and today's R&B. And also, we want to thank our sponsor, Duke City Marketing. If you're looking for local SEO or you're wanting to promote maybe Instagram stories or Snapchat ads, whatever it may be, don't hesitate to go to www.dukecitymarketing.com, and they would be more than happy to give you a adjustment, whatever you may need as far as your digital marketing side of things. It's interesting. I was talking to a client the other day, and Ramon, I don't know if you know this or not, but here in Albuquerque, we seem to be about 10, 15 years behind.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Yeah, it sounds like it.
Especially on the digital marketing side.
Yep.
It's so funny because we were talking about this earlier today. We were on Instagram, and what do you hashtag all the time?
ABQ Real Estate, ABQ Realtor, and the ROC difference.
Yeah. So you go on those, you do use those hashtags, you're going to see Ramon everywhere on there. And this was hilarious. We were doing a marketing mastermind this morning at 10, and you did so what's this whole thing, because everybody, I know I when I look for my house, I went on Zillow. What's this whole thing with the Zillow update? And then you got to talk about like doing push-ups and stuff like that. Yeah.
So the Zillow update is, just it's paying attention to who your competition is and understanding who's your competition and what they're doing. The push-up, which for the record, I think is the real estate so cool. I think what's happening in technology, I think what's happening all over the country and in our local market it's amazing, and I really get excited about it. But I put a video out there, and I thought, man, everyone's going to watch this. It's going to be the coolest thing that's hit Instagram in a long time.
Right.
And I was wrong. Nobody really paid attention to it.
It was a Zillow update. Like there's a new thing that Zillow has?
Yeah. It was just updating them on what they're doing and a little bit more about their financials and other branches of their business that have come forward and are a little questionable, I think.
Right.
But so anyway, then the next thing I did was, I have a turf wall in my office that I kind of made public. I really enjoy. And people kind of ask me, why do you have turf in your office? Why do you have it on your wall? And I did a quick video about it, and I was doing push-ups one morning at my office, and I started doing a video about, hey, the reason why I have turf is because business is like sports, and every day you got to remind yourself you're back on the practice field.
Right.
You're back in the game, and if you're not leaving it all out on the field every single time, every single day, you're not doing business right.
Right.
And lo and behold, that probably quadrupled the amount of views that people thought that was cooler. And that was only 1 minute.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
You never know what people are going to like, right?
Yeah, and if you guys haven't, I mean, it's rare that you see a business owner that, shows everything daily in multiple avenues. And if you haven't gone to his Instagram, and I encourage you to do that, it's really fun that way. But Ramon, I kind of want to get into a little bit. Maybe start out with you. Are you originally from New Mexico?
I am actually originally from Northern California.
Oh, really?
So I grew up a decent amount here in Albuquerque. So this is considered home, really.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So you, so the whole aspect of the wineries, because I know you post that all the time. That's from the whole Northern California side. Yeah,
wine has been something I've taken up over the years, and I really enjoy it. It's nice and calming. And sometimes when you have a stressful job and you're running around all the time, all you want to do is just hang out and relax. So that's one reason. And yes, I do look for excuses to get back to Northern California.
That's fun. So are we having a technical issue with?
We're having a technical issue, yeah, with Instagram Live here. I'm gonna try to see if I can counteract this. One sec here.
The little technical difficulties were back. Instagram we were doing Instagram Live. Ramon was on his, and there was no sound.
There was no sound, but apparently there's sound now, so we're good.
So we're good. So one of the things was, so you came from Northern California. Did your family come here?
So actually, funny enough, my dad is from New Mexico, and he was a part of the construction boom out in California. And so he had left and moved to California when he was younger, in his 20s, and started his construction company out in California. My mom is originally from here as well, and she wanted to move back. So after 13 years in business in California, he decided to move back to Albuquerque, and that's where he's been building custom homes ever since.
Oh, that's awesome. Yep. So you grew up in the construction industry.
I wouldn't say grew up in the construction industry. Was I forced to do manual labor, which I'm extremely thankful for? Yes, I did. But, my dad and I, he always wanted better for me. He wanted me to do things outside of manual labor for sure with my life. So he always pushed me to use my brain instead of my hands.
There's something cool, though, about it. I think that, I just turned 46. There's something about just doing manual labor.
Manual labor, awesome. Yeah. It kind of rejuvenates you a little bit. Yeah. I agree.
Someone was telling me, I was listening to David Goggins the other day, and he wrote a book, You Can't Hurt Me. I don't know if you've heard that one or not.
Absolutely.
But he was talking about he will go volunteer for fires in California.
Wow.
And just dig ditches all day long for 8-10 hours.
Yeah, that guy's a workhorse, man. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, and so I was like, that's like, he's like, it redeems you, it'll purify you.
Yeah, right.
So, I'm going to have to get out there. It's 97 today and start digging some ditches.
Yes, man.
With that shirt you got on, that wouldn't last very long.
No, it wouldn't last long now. I don't know how long I've lasted at this point, but
that's one of the things. I think I even saw that on one of your Instagram, or was it Facebook or Instagram? But somebody was like, ROC Real Estate. They have like the GQ look.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we don't look for any specific type of broker. We don't go after anyone in particular. You just have to be coachable, willing to take tough criticism, willing to take advice, willing to learn every day, and then also, apply consistent effort day in and day out for what we teach you.
Right.
If you can do those things, I don't care if you're 100 years old or you're 20. And I got guys who are 20 years old right now who are selling houses left and right and are making very good living. So we just know that it comes down to those two things, being coachable and applying consistent effort every single day.
So what would you, let's say there's somebody listening now, like somebody that's in real estate, maybe a teacher,
yep.
And they're doing it part-time or whatever, and they're looking at going full-time. What would be kind of like one of the biggest things that you would give them as far as, with your success and being so young and all that, and I know you're teaching constantly. I see that on your videos with the whiteboards and stuff like that. What are some advice that you would give somebody that's out there in real estate now?
That's out in real estate or wants to be in real estate full-time?
That's out in real estate, but maybe not, because there's so many real estate agents, I think, that are like borderline struggling.
Yep.
It seems like, or maybe they're doing part-time. What would you...
Yeah. So some of my most, successful transactions, successful business relationships, and just things that happened for us, they came from what you would, maybe a realtor right now or a broker would consider like a dead lead. Like something that, meeting this guy Jason for coffee, like what could that possibly do for me?
Right.
And you have to change your mindset for not what can Jason do for me, but what can I do for Jason? I think
good.
that so many people, like, they only do things when they know there's a possibility of them getting compensated for it. And even then they don't do them sometimes.
Right.
So it's like, you just have to help people, and you can help people in so many ways through real estate. And you can go, I mean, it's just unlimited what you can do. But so many people think small and think you only have to do these things, or you can only talk to these people. And if they don't express interest and they're not quote unquote a lead, they're not someone worth, pursuing. But you have to flip your mindset and think, what can I do for people? How can I help this person and help them no matter what, whether you're getting a massive commission check or it's actually sucking time out of your day, because you never know where those relationships are going to go.
Right, exactly. And you look at it, I mean, that's what I like about Gary Vee. He talks about that all the time, is like, just create a ton of value.
Always. Everyone you meet should walk away and be like, wow, I learned something from that person. And especially in real estate, I mean, people want to show off what they do, right? Oh, I'm driving this, and oh, I just bought this, and I just went on this vacation. And like, they don't realize that nobody cares.
Right.
And you want to be more interested in how you can help that person than becoming interesting to them.
Good. That's really good.
With every person you meet, you want to be more interested in them opposed to trying to be interesting for them.
Right.
I think that's one way that's definitely helped me create a lot of great relationships, bring brokers onto our team, and just have a lot of success even on the sales side.
Yeah, because you're looking at it, and I think it's something that is totally different. And what intrigued me towards you and your company and what you're doing is you're looking at, and maybe you can get into a little bit. If there's a broker and they're looking at, maybe maybe they've been sitting there for a year or two and they really haven't succeeded. They're not getting the coaching and the training. Can you go a little bit into like your process and what you do and how you help people that way?
Yeah, I mean, so one, you got to make a switch. Like, I understand that people are loyal to the people who helped them out, who brought them onto their company, but you got to be loyal to your career. And I see people all the time that are just, it's almost like blind loyalty. Like, oh, I don't want to leave. They gave me a shot. I'm like, well, yeah, they gave you a shot just to let you down. And so when somebody comes on, I mean, first, we're a partnership. It's in our name. That's what we truly believe, that we have to be able to both benefit each other's interests and help each other. So I want to know from them, like, paint me the perfect picture of the real estate brokerage, of the team, of the company you want to work at. What does that look like to you? I mean, that's how I'll generally start the conversation. And I try to find matches where I think I can help them. Now, I've had it before where someone tells me I need this, I need that. And I say, man, this isn't, we can't provide that. I think this would be a better option for you at other companies. And I encourage people to shop, go to brokerages, talk, learn about what's out there, and then make your decision. So I try to make sure that I can actually match what they need. And I also encourage them to shop around and know what their options are, because if you come with me, this isn't like you're going to leave in 2 months. Like, that means that we should have never even started working together in the first place. Right. It's an absolute long-term career move to come work at ROC Real Estate Partners, and that's how we treat it up front.
Yeah, and you know what's so unusual, and that's what I love, is because I've gone into a lot of different real estate broker offices and seen a lot of things, and you guys have like such a different culture. Like, you can feel it when you walk in the door.
Yeah, definitely.
And so how, as you as a business owner, how have you intentionally like put that culture out there? And I know you model it, which is really rare for a business owner, but what's your intentions on the culture side of things?
So with culture, it's like, you get to a point where you are getting so large. It started off 3 of us. Next thing you know, we're quadruple the size, 5 times the size. You start thinking about those things, and you don't realize me, because I'm running around, I'm going here, I'm going there. You don't realize the small comments people make, and you don't realize how much they appreciate certain things about your company. Right. Once you establish what people truly appreciate about working with you, that is your culture. Right. Like for us, one of them was support, right? Another one was that I got another guy named Alex Cordova, 24/7 work ethic, right? We didn't realize those were that was part of our culture until we started seeing, what? People are saying this is what they love about us. Wait, hold on. This is what we do different. This is why we're different. This is our culture. So now we do things, and I know it's kind of cliche to have core values now and mission statements and vision statements, but something that's unique to our company, which I hold very close, is I started in real estate with no money, with no sales, no nothing. Right. Alex, who started with me, 0 sales experience. Chris Cruz started with me, 0 sales experience. Deanna McGuire, transaction manager now, was a part-time real estate assistant. 0 transaction management, like true experience. So everything that we did, and anytime I say I, by the way, I mean we, because my team that's the only reason why we're at where we're at. we trained everyone learned together. We started from the ground up. So every process we made it. We didn't buy somebody else's process and manual. We didn't buy a franchise. I wasn't working for this company for 10 years and then, spun off and copied it.
Right.
Everything we did was from the ground up. And so our core values now are everything we know that we practiced for 3 years straight to get to where we're at. And so when we look back, those are the things that helped us get to where we are now. And we hold those very, very close for that reason.
Yeah, and I think, and this is what I want everyone to know. All you business owners that are out there listening to this, ROC Real Estate. When you go in there, if they want to just like stop by and say hello to you or whatever, you're going to be shocked. And I think that's one of the things. As a business owner, I've dealt with transactions real estate. I know a lot of us have. We've always kind of been disappointed with the work ethic side. I mean, just to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like on the real estate, I know for me personally, it's been that way. Like, it's like, what's going on? What?
So I get you 100% because growing up, my dad was a custom home builder. He's a builder. He's not a salesman. And I've met realtors when I was younger, and I know that then they they got the home sold, but I know even for him, he never really liked realtors. And so I grew up not really liking realtors. And, so when I got into the business, I said, okay, I want to be the exact opposite of everything, the reasons why we didn't like working with them that much. Right. And that's kind of, so I mean, I get it. I think there's definitely, that barrier to entry to get your license and get going in real estate, I think it's way too low. I think it's ridiculously low. I think there should be a lot more qualifications, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, because I think real estate, and we've talked about this before, but the real estate market has changed dramatically, especially with the introduction of the internet, and then you've got Trulio and Zillow and Realtor.com.
I could go on and on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And more of these sites are coming out there. So, as a homeowner, with commercial real estate, it's that whole idea of knowing that person, especially for an entrepreneur, I work hard, you work hard. It's knowing that person is working hard for you.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've noticed with you, especially Alex. Literally, I said today, I was like, bro, do you ever stop?
Yeah, Alex is I think that's why he also is so successful so quick. I mean, the guy sold 40 homes his first year while he had a full-time job. And it's because every moment, and even the moments he was at work, he was dialed in. And to this day, now he's free to do whatever. And so you can imagine the type of volume he's doing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he that guy eats, sleeps, and breathes real estate. So, people don't understand. Alex might have a website, and another broker might have a website.
Right.
They might be with a Remax or Caldwell Bank, where Alex is with ROC Real Estate Partners. You don't know what this guy does behind closed doors. You don't know the education. You don't know the amount of transactions he's involved with.
Right.
So, now that's why I think it's becoming, I think brands, in terms of large brands, are having a little bit of a harder time, is because the consumer is so much more educated and they're buying the person.
Right.
They're buying that person's expertise. They don't buy Alex because, he works at ROC Real Estate Partners, you have to work with Alex. No, they work with Alex because somebody called and was like, you're never going to find someone better.
Right.
You need to call this guy. And they don't care what company he's with because they know he can do the job correctly and he can do it right.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's something that, I've noticed when I've been over there is you've brought that work ethic to, you can see it permeate throughout. And I know when I walked in there today, where's your office at? I want everybody to know.
It's at 901 Rio Grande Boulevard. So it's right off of I-40 and Rio Grande.
So it's right near where the old St. Clair was.
Yes, where the where the old St. Clair. It's
behind it.
Yeah, it's in there. Where two cranes just opened up, and where the old St. Clair was at. Correct.
No, okay, cool. And so because this is a question that something that I see you model, and I've wanted to talk about it. And both of us, we've read Jocko Willink's work, I mean, he was an ex-Navy SEAL. If you haven't read his 2 leadership books, one's Dichotomy of Leadership, that was the latest one, and then the other one is
just Extreme Ownership.
Extreme Ownership, and that's something that you have taken, and I've seen you move that forward, not just on your social media presence, but with your employees. What does that look like to you? What is Extreme Ownership?
Well, extreme ownership is the practice of, it doesn't matter what goes right and what goes wrong. Everything that happens in your company is a direct reflection of the leader.
I love that.
Everything that happens is a direct correlation with my decisions. And by thinking anything else other than what I just said, you're wrong.
You're making excuses.
You're making excuses. Yeah, you're not owning everything. So, you know, I mean, two of our core values of our company, and believe it or not, one of them is extreme ownership, and the other one's 24/7. So as you can imagine, between those two, we take work ethic extremely seriously. Because at the end of the day, you know, we can talk about what grows the company, right, and what core values, but you're impacting somebody's life. You're impacting the house their kids live in. You're affecting their financial future.
Right.
And if you're not owning that process and not owning up to everything that goes right and goes wrong and getting better from it, you know, I don't think I want you to be working with us if you don't take that extremely serious.
It's just not a transaction.
It's absolutely not. It's just not a transaction. I mean, there's so many more things to it, but ultimately you're messing with, you know, and probably not the best way to explain it, but you're messing with someone's life.
Right.
And you better be taking that seriously.
It's their number one purchase in their whole life.
Usually their largest investment in someone's life is their home. That's the majority of investments. The largest one will be your home.
And that's something, and you can see that from you modeling that to, you know, all the employees that you have below you is, we're going to take extreme ownership for this. If this home doesn't sell, then let's dive into it. And I've seen you, and that's something that, you know, that I love about your company is, and maybe you can get a little bit of, is the coaching that you do. I mean, you know, and even on Instagram, you put that on there, like when you guys are doing one-on-ones and stuff like that. You know, like, how does, like, give me behind the scenes. Like, if there's a business owner right now and they're looking at, you know, because 90% of business owners don't take the time to do the coaching. Right. That's the stats.
And I'll be honest with you, it's hard. It's not the part about the actual coaching. Like, I love working with our brokers and watching them achieve their goals. Like, that is what gets me up in the morning. But spending the time and blocking the time and not letting other things, even though those other things are very important, you got to remember the people that you work with, the people are the most important part. And so you absolutely have to make the time, even though it can be stressful sometimes. You have to track it properly and you have to just do it. And there's no other, I mean, it's tough, believe me, I get it, but there's no other way, in my opinion.
And so you, you know, because I've seen it, like I said, you take the time, you schedule it, you pull them in your office one-on-one, and then you go through a process with them?
Correct. Yeah, so when you work with our company, you have a 6-week onboarding. In that onboarding, we acquaint you with our company 1 week at a time. But you're also hopping into our team meetings, you're hopping into our training. So by the end of the 6 week, you should be 100% comfortable with our company and with moving forward, successfully moving forward with selling real estate. Now, again, I don't sit in front of somebody for 5 hours and watch their eyes glaze over and give them all this information. It just doesn't work. And yeah, would it be easier to do that all in one sitting? Yeah, but that's not what's best for the new broker. So we have a 6-week onboarding. In that onboarding, we have the third meeting is a goals meeting. So I want to know your personal goals for 365 days, and I want to know your financial goals in real estate. And when I say financial goals, I don't like getting into the whole, just what you would tell Sunday church, right? Get up and say, I want to know if there's a bank account called real estate, I want to know how many dollars you want to flow through there in 1 year. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you can say, I want to feel financially free. I want to feel good about what I do, but like, let's get down to it. You need to make money. Right. So let's get down to how we're going to do that. So they give me their number on what they want to do, what their goal is, right? And then they give me some other personal goals, because I care about you financially just as much as I do as your overall health. And I'm huge on working out. I'm huge on trying keyword to live a healthier lifestyle. So I want to know those goals. So if it's, hey, lose 10 pounds. Okay, great. Our company offers a 60% off gym membership through Sports and Wellness. There's step one. You want to start working out with me, maybe. You want to, how are we going to help you develop a plan to hit your personal and financial goals? So from there, we meet every single month and we review your goals. And these aren't the type of sales meeting, or these aren't type of goals meetings where I'm like, hey, you're not hitting your goals. Like, why aren't you hitting them? Like, you're not doing enough. When you write down goals, I feel the same obligation that I have to help you get there as much as you should feel like you have to help yourself to get there. Right. So like, it stresses me out. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, they didn't sell anything, I don't care. It stresses me out because I know, like, man, I told this person you're going to come on and I'm going to help you hit your goals. I have to make sure they do it. So what can I do? So the question is in those meetings, hey, what's going right? What's going wrong? What can I do to further help you? And what do you need to do to continue to help yourself? And it's a very, very good working relationship. But those meetings have been huge. And ultimately, it helps brokers stay on track and stay accountable.
Right. I think that's a huge word, accountability.
Yeah, and our brokers love them because it gets them back fired up. They learn a lot from me because that's your time to ask me any question you want. I mean, anything. It's just me and it's just myself and the broker. So, those meetings, and you get to know people on a personal level, which I feel like no matter how large we get, I just don't want to lose that.
Right.
Knowing people at a personal level, knowing what drives them, knowing what they want, knowing how to train them. I think that's huge.
So you, I mean, to get into details, because I want business owners to know this. So you strategically every week set out blocks of time for coaching.
Yep.
And then through that process, regardless of emergencies, or because we're always running around working on the business, not working in the business, not on the business.
So this is like a best case scenario. I had a broker today. His name's Michael Vallejos. Came over our company. The guy's a rock star. He's doing great. But he called me today. Hey, I can't make our coaching meeting. I have 2 clients. I'm showing houses to. I'm writing up offers for them. Like, I couldn't think of a better call to get. Like, hey, Mike, good, great. So now you can't get coached because you're so busy.
Right.
We're going to reschedule for probably later today or tomorrow. But that's exactly what I want to happen.
See, that's awesome. Yeah.
That's exactly what we want.
That's cool. Well, we're going to take a break real quick, and then we're going to get right into this. I kind of want to get in a little bit more about leadership.
Okay.
That's fine. We'll get into a little bit more. I love the practical side of things. I love what's going on with ROC Real Estate. I encourage you, any business owner that's out there, if you guys have not, what's your guys' website?
It is www.rocabq.com.
Okay. Yep. So, yeah, and I'll put that in the show notes so you guys know that.
Yep.
But I want to make sure that you guys go to that. If you have questions on real estate or whatever, don't hesitate. I know all your guys' information's on there. So.
Yeah, everything you need is on there. Yep. You can find out a little bit more about our brokers, find out a little bit more about our core values, what we're doing as a company, what we call the ROC difference, what makes us different. You can see some of the properties we have listed, $1 million houses, some cool stuff in there. We have some other properties that are great across all of Albuquerque. So there's a lot of good information on there.
Awesome. We're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be right back.
Join us this week for another episode of the Albuquerque Business Podcast with your host, Jason Rigby. Each week, he interviews leading local business leaders that inspire the vision and spirit in every entrepreneur, discussing strengths, weakness, strategies, systems, and the problems we can all solve together to fulfill a shared vision of a new future for Albuquerque. Listen or download this Sunday afternoon at 4 from your favorite podcasting app.
And we're back. This is the Albuquerque Business Podcast. It's interesting. We just had a break. And Ramon, can you kind of go into, I know you did on your Instagram Live, can you go into what happened during the break? I know you had a broker call, something with the dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just, my brokers, their phone calls get returned. I don't care what I'm doing. I will call them back anytime, day or night. And they know if they can't get a hold of me, there's a secondary line, Alex. But they had a question for me about a new listing we have going on the market, about a survey with an easement and some wild dogs that are running around. And so I talked to my broker about that. And then I had another broker in Santa Fe who, she doesn't work with us, but she her name is Darlene. She's the #1 broker in Santa Fe.
Wow.
And we linked up about 2 years ago, and we refer business back and forth to each other. So she sends me a lot of things to do. She keeps me very busy, but long story short, when she calls, I answer, and vice versa, the same for me. So there was a client moving in Albuquerque, which I always love when people are coming into our city from out of state. So that's my time to shine and make sure that person's well taken care of.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
And I think at the end of the day, when you look at that, especially in the Santa Fe market, I mean, there's a lot of high-end homes there.
A ton of high-end homes. I think she sold $97 million in 2018.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's like an absurd. That's like top 10 in the nation, probably. That's absurd crazy, for a single broker.
Yeah, so we took a break for you to answer that phone call.
Yeah, I take those calls pretty seriously. Yes, I take every call seriously, actually, but that one just has a special ring to it.
You know what? I think it's important too. I think business owners a lot of times do not look at your high value clients, your high value phone calls as interruptions. That's a chance for you to provide value.
Right. Yeah. No, not at all. They're never interruptions. Actually, anyone asking, needing help is never an interruption. That's kind of what I was getting to when we initially started was, it doesn't matter if this person's asking you a question, and you're not going to get paid from answering the question, or they want some info. Like, they're going to go tell somebody else, hey, you won't need help like this person, they'll get to you always. And you want that reputation. If people think about the word real estate and they don't think about your name, back to extreme ownership, that's your fault.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that. Yeah. So today I took a picture and I put it on my Instagram story. I want to post it so it stays a little bit more, and I'll probably get those from you. But you had 9 core values that ROC's about. And I can see that permeates to your culture, permeates to the way that you lead. Can you go into those a little bit and describe those? Like if you were, like coaching a business owner about what because you came up with those, right?
Yep. Well, myself and my team came up with them. They definitely had a large role in that, the original 4. But so one of them we talked about earlier was extreme ownership. And again, that is the mindset and the absolute understanding that no matter what happens in your company, in your personal life, in business, and from a leadership standpoint, what happens in your company, good or bad, is an absolute direct reflection of your decisions and your decisions only.
That's
your
good.
actions. Yeah, and if you think there's anything else that is influencing, like if you're looking at external factors, you're wrong. Everything is internal. Everything is your fault, good or bad. So you own the good stuff and learn from the bad stuff.
No matter if it's a client that's upset.
It does not matter. Nope.
It's just period. It's your fault.
And you just gain so much traction thinking that way. You just start owning and fixing all the things that constantly coming up instead of putting them off until they're big problems. Like one thing pops up, you identify that is my fault that wasn't done correctly. You fix it and you move on. And like you just start feeling this traction. It's great.
Well, I think also, when you're dealing with a client, having that mindset and you're talking to them, it translates to that. So I could imagine the phone call that you have like, hey, client, we dropped the ball. It's my fault. Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so humility goes such a long way. And people do not realize that. Don't cover for your mistakes. Just admit it and move on.
Just admit it and move on and be honest. And so that's going to lead me to my next core value is live in the truth. And the reason why I say live in the truth is because if you do the right thing and you tell people the truth and you're honest in all of your business dealings, 1, you're going to stay out of court, you're going to stay out of trouble. 2, you're going to be able to go to sleep at night. And 3, your clients, no matter whether it's good or bad what you're telling them, they're going to appreciate your honesty. And for me, I'm a straight shooter. I don't beat around the bush. We tell just how it is. And I think that's how business should be conducted. And so living in the truth and being honest in all of your business dealings, it's extremely important to me. You can only do 2 things wrong in our business. One is lie.
Right.
At any point in time, not tell the truth, or not give effort, not try. Those are 2 things you can do wrong. If you're not going to do those, you're going to be fine.
Right. Exactly.
So live in the truth. That is one of our other core values.
Yeah, and like as far as like on a day-to-day basis, what do you think out of the, we talked about extreme ownership, living the truth. What other one would you say is extremely important, not just for you to display leadership, but that you require your brokers to have?
So kind of an odd term, but it's called social currency, okay? And social currency is the act of putting relationships first and real estate second. And it goes back to what I said earlier, that people are just so money driven and you should be value driven. I know value is such like a,
like a buzzword.
A buzzword, provide value. Like, what does that even mean? Help people, right? They need something, they want advice, they need, material, they need insight, give it to them no matter what. And so people in real estate, I feel that it's gotten so convoluted with all these get rich schemes and you want to generate 500 leads a day, like call me, it's like, right. Okay, great. No, that's why you're selling it to us, not actually selling real estate, right? Like,
exactly.
Give me a break with that. Right. But what that's going into is that you're a relationships manager. Don't overcomplicate your job. Your whole job is to manage relationships with people. Because what makes a good relationship? If you had to say, whether it's a marriage, a girlfriend, boyfriend, it's a business relationship, what is the underlying factor that makes it work? What is it?
Yeah, I would think more than anything would be, being relational, being honest, and being able to share.
So when you're honest with someone, what do they gain from you? What do they get? They trust you.
Right.
When you're honest.
Right.
Trust. So by building relationships and building trust, the real estate will come. Like people ever wonder, why did I lose that listing appointment? Or why did that buyer that was working with me, why'd they go elsewhere? They trusted somebody more than they trusted you. Don't mistake it as if like you did something wrong. Whatever somebody else told them, whatever they, the way they presented themselves, the information they gave them, the value, they trusted that person more. So if you chase trust by providing value and you genuinely help people, the real estate will come, and it will really come. And your phone will ring instead of you having to ring other people's phones. And that's a great business to be in.
Yeah, because I think we get so caught up in dealing, and there's a place and a point to where you're calling cold leads, you're doing all these.
Yeah. And you should.
But and you should. But at the end of the day, taking the time to have a cup of coffee with that person that you don't know if they're going to provide value, you have no idea where that leads to. It's like we talked about in the meeting today. I talked to a plumber that led to one of your friends that led to you DMing me. Then I looked on your Instagram, which we got to talk about real quick, and saw you were shooting automatic machine guns. So I'm like, I'm in. I'm instantly in. So then we meet at Marble. Next thing you know, we're in, a relationship with business and, digital marketing and stuff like that. So, you have no idea where that connection is going to lead you.
Right. You have no idea. And at the end of the day, too, with real estate especially, but I think this can be applied to a lot of businesses, is you get so caught up in buying internet leads and buying, these different, there's industry specific marketing generation. And at some point you become rely on those. And a business that relies on another business to stay in business, that's not a business.
That's good.
And so we are preparing ourselves to make sure that we can sustain an up market and a down market, because we're not relying on, if that $10,000 I pay out to lead generation every month isn't producing leads, what am I going to do? You can't have that moment, right? You have to know what the plan is. And it might be a little bit harder and not so glamorous to go chase coffee appointments and follow up with people and manage relationships constantly. But once you gain traction, it snowballs on you, and it snowballs a lot more efficiently and for longer than just going and paying, the easy way out, going and paying Zillow. Here's $3,000 a month. Give me business.
Yeah, I want to quote you on that. You said, because I want people to understand what you just said, and I want this to sink in your head as a business owner. What would you say if you're relying on other businesses? If
you're relying on another business to help you stay in business, you are not a business. I don't know what.
So good, bro.
I don't know what people don't understand about that. So I'm thinking, okay, so if I have to pay Realtor.com, Zillow, I have to pay Google Pay-Per-Click, I have to pay this, pay that. What happens when those either turn on you, which Zillow's doing?
Right.
Or what if they just don't work? In a down market, who knows if there's going to be tons of leads on there anymore? Or another company comes out, you just don't know.
Right.
And so if you're not building a sustainable business you're handling the things internal, it might cost you a little bit more upfront to do those. And yes, you have to make the real process and procedures. And yes, you have to do all the groundwork. But once it's set up, you're setting yourself up for longevity and long-term success ultimately.
That's awesome. I love that. So because I want to go through, we don't have to go through all 9 of them for sake of time, but what would be another one of your core values that are on your wall?
Sure. I would say another important core value is build your brand. And the reason why we go build your brand is because I feel I think we're a good example of it. I filed the LLC name 3.5 years ago for ROC Real Estate Partners. Yeah. And, we'll do $50 million in real estate this year of sales. I feel like the brand recognition from and again, I'm not downplaying anyone's business, but, I'm just using examples, Remax, Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, right? I think those are great brands. They've built very successful companies, but ultimately the consumer is buying the person that's right in front of them.
Right.
So they might Google Keller Williams,
right,
but they're probably going to Google the person's name first. So if you can't build yourself to be a real estate advisor, you can't build your own brand on who you are, how you identify in the market, you're just going to get lost in translation. You're just another broker with a license. So our company is the big push behind all of our brokers, but ultimately I want them to be the business. You are the commodity. You are the broker is what we cannot reproduce.
Right.
I can't make another Alex. I wish I could. Shoot, we'd be. I'd make 20 Alexes if I could. I can't make another Deanna. She's a transaction man. She is a business. So people don't understand is that you have to build the person up, right? You want them to have the confidence, them to have the expertise. And the brand can help, but I feel like brands are losing their recognition because people buy people, and that's the end of story.
Yeah, and I think even more with social media. The whole aspect.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can see it in, and I've talked about this before, industries that are using YouTube influencers instead of using, the makeup's prime example. You would use a Kardashian. Now they're turning around and recognizing this YouTube person just got 3 million views on me unboxing this lipstick. Let me hit them up and bring them to a party in Hollywood, know?
Yeah.
So that whole dynamic of, and I love it now because to me, it's a lot more honest.
Yeah.
It's going directly to the end user.
Directly to them, yeah.
Right. And I think, especially in real estate, that's something, that is bringing it out there because I could pretty much do almost everything online.
Yeah.
So, but I don't have the expertise or the ability to handle the transaction one. And number two, I need someone like you said that I could trust, that is relying on me to make those connections that I need made so that I can get my home sold or my commercial property or whatever it may be.
Yep.
So I know you were talking earlier, we were talking about different businesses, stuff like that. Do you have like property management or something like that?
Yeah, so we have a couple different businesses. We do commercial and residential property management. We are owners of an insurance company, a commercial insurance company called Strategic Insurance Group. And we also do, our own flips and developments on the side and what have you.
I saw you have somebody that you have financing there too, right?
On
inside ROC, I mean, you had a
so we have a Bank of Albuquerque has been a huge partner with us. I mean, they found me early on when I didn't even know what I was doing, and they were like, "You have potential," and I was like, "Okay, whatever that means." And Lou Lane and Monfon, great guys from Bank of Albuquerque. They have an office now in our office. So now anyone who's in our office, especially our brokers, I mean, just great resources. So they have financing questions, we get them answered right away.
Yeah, and I love when you walk into their office. It's so cool. And we're on a podcast, so I kind of want to describe it a little bit. But you have like a turf wall.
Yeah.
And it was funny because you went on Instagram and you're like polling and stuff like that. Yeah. I just saw you had a neon sign.
Yeah, we got a neon sign.
So that's cool.
Yeah, the ROC neon sign. It's like 5 feet tall. Yeah, it's great.
And then something that is so unusual that you do not see very much of is, and I've talked to him quite extensively, is Daniel. And it was so cool. I walked in there the other day and he had his door closed and he was sitting with a realtor and they were going over, you could see it on the screen, they were going over like their Facebook page and stuff like that.
Yep.
So you have coaching for marketing.
Yeah, so we have in-house marketing. Daniel, he has been, we kind of created his position out of thin air. No one really knows the story of how Daniel came on board, but it was like perfect timing. And since then, he has helped brokers. Everything from shooting videos for your properties to, making custom headers for your email signature. The guy does it all. So that's part of your 6 meetings onboarding when you come on, is you have a day with Daniel. And on that day, you're going to do everything marketing.
It's the Daniel plan.
It's the Daniel plan. He gets you all geared up. He has his process he goes through. And so, what we did is we put a digital media room now in our new office. That's how
so awesome.
And, part of it was meeting you, to be honest. You kind of opened my eyes to the power of digital marketing and of social media. And so I believed in it so much. I said, okay, new office. I'm getting a green screen. I'm getting lights, camera, action. I want to.
You have all that.
And we have it. Yeah.
You even have the on air.
I got the on air. I got it all, man. Yeah. So that's one area of our company that we have some really cool stuff we're doing. I can't say too much about. You know a little bit about it. What our plans are in the future with that. But I think that that was a great decision. Yeah.
But it's like you said, you're not being dependent on a large brand. No. You're not being dependent on like a Zillow or Realtor.com. No. You're actually creating this energy in-house.
Yeah. Everything, I believe, if we can sustain it, we will do it in-house because you have more quality control. And again, like one of our other core values I didn't get to is it's all about the client. That is what the core value is. And that's understanding that the client is ultimately why that's why we do everything we do. That's why I'm here right now.
Right.
That's why I have the digital media room. That's why, Deanna is our transaction manager. That's why our brokers study the core values, is because it ultimately ends in a positive experience for the client.
Yeah, and it was so funny today. I was in the meeting with you guys, and she had taken vacation or something, and then you guys did a bunch of transactions.
Yeah, we escrowed 7 or 8 properties in 2 days.
And then she comes back, and it was so cool in the meeting because I go in the monthly meetings, and it was so cool because the one meeting I was in, she was talking about, I'm going to leave more, I'm going to go on vacation, but you can tell your culture how good it is because she's like, I'm taking vacation again. And then she goes, I want to help you guys. I don't mind being on my computer.
Yeah.
You call me, you text me. Yeah. And so all the way from her being basically she's a transaction clerk.
She's a transaction coordinator, yeah.
So you can see that culture displayed in her, and then you turn around and it permeates through the realtors. And that means, guess what happens? If it's 8 or 9 o'clock at night and you get a text from a client, it's going to get answered.
Yeah. And Deanna is she says she's going on vacation, but, she doesn't go on vacation, man. And, she is, like I said, you can't replace people like that.
No,
we have another employee, Angeline, who's our listing coordinator. So it's the same process. She handles all of our listings, helps the clients get the homes on the market, writes the descriptions, photos, lockboxes, signs, all that good stuff. And so she puts all the house on the market, but she's the same way. But see, she came to us from another job. I can't remember, it was a normal 9 to 5 job, but she comes to us now, without me ever having to say, hey, you need to answer your phone off the clock, she does. And it's because she's so bought into the culture.
Right.
She's so bought into what we're all about, and she's made a huge impact on our company so far. So, I mean, it just, it's hard to explain like how you do it. You just,
but I mean, it was like, there was like you had a relative that was on vacation.
Yeah.
And then he thanked the whole team.
Yeah.
Something happened there.
Yeah. So he was out on vacation. He had a client want to see a property. And as you know today, if you're in a certain price range, you better get to that house and write an offer if they want it.
Right.
And so the client probably wouldn't get the house, but he called another one of our brokers, and that broker, Robert, he was there and I don't know, man, probably same day, I'm assuming, showed it.
Right.
They ended up writing up the offer. The client got the house. That would have never happened if our brokers don't understand that it's not about individual, it's about the team.
Right.
Somebody was using ROC Real Estate Partners for a transaction, and they are going to get what they want.
No, that's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, and so, that's something that you can see. And then he was so thankful for the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's why his client is getting what he wants, and Chris is still the guy. Chris Lee is the guy who had put under contract, and, his client doesn't even know what happened.
Right.
Doesn't even know he went out of town because the team is that seamless.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, we're going to, I know you're busy. You keep getting phone calls and DMs and texts and all that stuff.
Sorry.
No, it's perfect. I want people to know you. I want them to see your brand. I want them, and I encourage them to, what's your Instagram again, Ramon?
It is Ramon_ABQ. And my first name is spelled RAMON_ABQ.
And it's something that, if you guys will follow him and start seeing, you're going to see the culture of the business. It's something that I have not seen in Albuquerque.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I think if you're out there and you're listening and you're looking, maybe somebody that's selling a home, or they're wanting to list their home, or, property management, whatever it may be, I encourage you to either DM you or get a hold of your office. And what's your website again?
It is www.rocabq.com. To piggyback on what you said, or if you know someone in real estate who's looking for a real career change.
That's so good.
Yeah, we're into developing careers and creating futures, not just hang your license and hope the best for you.
Yeah, they're sitting across the table at Marble or whatever, and they're talking to their friend, and their friend's like, I'm struggling in real estate.
Yeah.
Have them get a hold of you.
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised at what you find.
That's good. That's good. Well, thanks, Ramon. I really appreciate your enthusiasm. I appreciate your extreme ownership and leadership. I think we're going to title this one. I think that would be perfect.
That's good, man. I like that. Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. This was a good conversation.
Yeah, and I think I hope you guys have got a ton of value out of it, and I pray that you'll implement some of these practices. If at all else fails, walk into ROC Realty and see their wall. Yeah. And take a picture of it. What's your guys' hashtag? Do you guys have like a ROC hashtag?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to have people go in there and just take a little picture of
that's what the neon sign and the grass wall is for too. But the ROC difference, hashtag the ROC difference.
Okay, perfect.
Is what I use.
Yeah, we'll have to use that and see what goes on with that.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, thanks, Ramon. I appreciate you being on today.
Thanks, Jason.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thank you to our sponsor, DukeCityMarketing.com. Please go to abqpodcast.com, where you can get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner in Albuquerque.